Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with my co-host, Ron. How you doing today, Ron?
Doing very well today, Chantele. How are you doing?
I'm so happy that it's sunny out, and I have to say, I've had a great day
Good.
because part of my alter ego is that I'm an actor as well as a hypnotherapist, and I'm a certified life coach. And I put on a week one of a 6-week workshop that me and another hypnotherapist friend of mine put together, and it went really, really well, and we already have people that have seen some results since we finished at 2:30 today. So it
Fantastic.
feels really good that something that we've created, we have 10 people participating, and it went really well earlier on today. So I'm in a very good mood. So yes.
Very good. Very good. You didn't have to hypnotize yourself to get in that good mood.
Well, I guess I kind of did. I had to, I had to listen to a few, hypno affirmations and stuff like that. So just being in that container of energy with people and, leading and being inspiring and all that stuff. So I was in good energy for all of today so far. So I'm about to shut it all down like a house of cards when I talk about these 2 episodes.
I know. The sunshine can't just shine on top of what would have been maybe some really great moves. But no, we're going to get some cloud and some wind on these ones.
Yes, yes, yes. It's actually really windy outside. It's sunny, but like the wind is kind of scary. I'm like, it's gonna take my roof off. Uh, it's like windy. We have a friend
Yep.
here. Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you. I guess it's like 10 a.m. Good day. I just had to say it just keeps on popping in my head that I think that where all the wheels came off the bus for this season was when Amy wanted to target Jordan.
Hmm.
I don't think that that was the right move,
Yep.
but I think she should have tried to target Juicy Dave because
Yes.
I think she would have been able to gather the troops to make that move. He was also from the original blood tribe, so like it would have been someone that they would be like, okay, I can see them going.
Yep.
She should have played into her relationship with Jordan and allow her to be ingratiated with the original water tribe, and the numbers would have been a little bit more equal.
Hmm.
I think that that is where they had the possibility of making a shift, and they weren't able. Then they're just kind of, the women anyways are just not in a winning position, and that's what was a lot of the frustrations that I had these 2 episodes, was that with every vote out, the numbers were getting even more unbalanced.
Absolutely. I think you're pretty bang on with the idea that at that moment that was a really big turning point. And definitely when the tribe shuffled and that large group of guys got put onto one tribe together, it definitely made for a large barrier for everybody else because we've seen, especially in Australian Survivor, where the big guys are always targeted when we get really close to the merge or just post swap, and they get scared, and so they got an opportunity at this point to kind of band together,
Mhm.
and it sucks because they it just sucks to watch. It's just awful. Like it's just annoying to watch at this point. But it really meant that a lot of the really smart, savvy women were going to start being taken out because there was no opportunity for them at this point. It was all downhill. So
Yeah.
it sucks. Yeah.
Totally, totally,
But
totally,
I'm
totally.
not against this season. I know some people are like, I think this is like one of the worst seasons.
No, no,
It
no, 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 no,
still
no, no, no,
makes
no, no.
for interesting viewing, but because at some point, this whole giant house of cards is going to have to collapse. But it
Yeah.
just sucks to see some really good people go.
Is it going to collapse and like the two brothers are going to be the final two?
I can't really. I was saying last week, I think that they have a very strong possibility to do it, and I still kind of maintain that. But I think it's not just them. I think it's any of the pairs that are left. Yeah.
Hi, Dolores. Thank you for being here. We love your energy too, City. Thank you for being here. And Hamza, thank you. The season is steadily going downhill. Well, this is one thing that I like about this season, and it will always be decent, is that the interference is still gameable. I
Yep.
don't like the interference from production on 41 and most likely 42 with like I hated the hourglass twist, which I've talked about a gazillion times. Like I don't like when it's a complete lie. At least these twists, okay, yeah, it sucks. You voted someone out and they're going on to their tribe, or you voted someone else and actually only one person staying there making fire. Like, okay, yeah, it sucks. It shows your hand sometimes a little bit, but it's manageable in
Yep.
comparison to completely just wiping somebody's win off and being like, sorry, you're actually the losers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
for sure. There's no twists in this season yet where it completely flips the game around and just puts everybody at a disadvantage. Like an idol could potentially put a wrench into people's plans, but you still manage to move forward with it. Where the hourglass twist basically just said, screw whatever else is happening and what you've worked for. We're going to make it so that now we can try something else out. And I mean, it's a trial and error. They're going to test that out. But fortunately, in Australian Survivor, they don't stick too hard to these things. But their idols just seem to be popping up in places where they're like, should there be an idol there? Shouldn't there just be one at each camp? Why do we keep putting them at challenges or at rewards? Like, I know you want to see a successful idol play, but let them make that mistake and that be part of the comedy of the show.
yeah, definitely. Hamza says this game is way more pure than Survivor 41.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's why
Mhm.
I still think it's a top tier season. There's the cast I think is really enjoyable. I'm still kind of rooting for some people. But the gameplay is there enough from enough people for me to enjoy it more than Survivor 41. And I don't know if I
Mhm.
said this here or like last week or if I said this with Sarah, but I really don't feel like 41 was a real seasons of Survivor. Like there's just something about it. Like I just don't. I'm like I don't really see the gameplay. Like I don't really see
Yeah.
how Erica won. Like I can't. I don't get the game. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem normal. And so I don't even know where I would rank Erica in gameplay because I actually someone was like, "Oh yeah, Erica, the winner." I was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I literally just forgot that she
Mhm.
was the winner because her game, from what I've seen about it and that whole season, it wasn't really impactful.
Yeah, for sure. No, I understand that. I'm not going to say anything negative about Erica because I'm very excited to say that next week I get to interview her for something.
Oh,
So
yay!
but I will say this is that
Is it
what's
recorded?
interesting.
Can I air it on here?
It'll be shared through my work. So I work for the Brock University Students Union, and it'll be shared on our StreamYard to our Facebook page. So you can
Okay,
follow
I'll
Busu
yeah.
and watch it there. I hopefully we'll do a really good job. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous for this. But one thing I think was interesting about it was just that we like we've seen some players that are like highlighted early on in the season and they're shown as like being like really big underdogs. And while Erica was kind of not edited to look like she was going to be a winner very early on, she was still like a target. She was a threat. She found a way to get out of the limelight and make herself somebody that was a contender to win at the end of the game. They kept saying she was a threat to win, and she proved it because she got to the end of the game and she ended up
And she
winning.
won. Mhm.
So it was a very good. There is something there to be said about the strategy of maybe playing it a little bit quieter, which
Mhm.
some people don't really like. I'm like 50-50 on. I really would have loved to see a bigger gameplay, but out of the three that were there at the end,
Absolutely.
Erica would have gotten my vote.
Absolutely, I agree. She would have got my vote as well. I'm not saying that she's not a deserving winner from at the end. 100%. I see how that went down. Well, maybe if you could ask her if you feel comfortable, like, how does it feel that your game hasn't really been showcased to the fans, and so people don't really understand your game fully? Like, how does that feel being a winner, that people are always going to be questioning why you won because they didn't see your game all the way throughout? So I would be very interested to see how that feels on her end, because no matter what, it must have been challenging. Like, she still did have to beat a bunch of people to get to the end and win 1.3 million Canadian. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
So yes, I mean, I definitely don't want to disrespect her. But I would love to hear her perspective on how her win has impacted fans, and then how that's impacted her.
Well, we're definitely in a new era of Survivor, as they were saying. That's the dawn of the new era, because they did 26 days for that one. And did you hear that there's a new Survivor-esque show coming out on NBC?
I'm going to try to apply for it.
Oh my gosh, it sounds dreadful.
I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, but give me a bracelet with 10 grand on it. I'll stay to the end. Like, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I totally get that. But I'm just like, we are 22 years into what Survivor has done, and now you're playing catch up to this. Like, but I will watch a bit of it to see what happens. But it's going to be an interesting thing. But yeah, it sounds very basic in comparison. But now they're just having to try and make it be new, because you got to breathe life into these things, which is, I think, part of why Australian Survivor is successful in its franchises, is because there's only been 7 seasons of this new iteration of it, and it came so late. But they focus so heavily on the intensity of the gameplay and the players. And it's because they probably have watched many seasons of Survivor in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Philippines, other countries, and they want to show that they're really great players as well, and they do a great job of it.
So have you healed from Nina leaving?
I'll never heal from Nina leaving until she is back in the game again.
I agree. I think the season took a hit there.
Yeah.
Because then it went into the hands of the guys instead of into her hands, you know?
Yeah.
The season game is way more pure than Survivor 41. Agreed. It won't last, but there are too many passive players. Mel, Michelle, KJ, Dave, Jordan, Chrissy, Shay. Yeah, those are all pretty. Maybe KJ might come out of her shell.
Yeah, they're passive in comparison to the people who are currently controlling the game. But again, the people who are controlling the game can't be in control the whole time, because
maybe they can.
Well, let's hope not. But KJ seems like somebody who might step up and say, "Let's make a change." I'm disappointed in my Chrissy for not making a stance, but she doesn't know the game as well. So
she wouldn't. I didn't expect her to do that. Yeah. So back to Erica. So Hamza's saying Erica's game left a lot to be desired, but she did play better than Xander and Deshawn. Yeah, I totally agree. When do you interview her?
The 15th of March, I believe. The interview's focus is on like a lot of students, because I work for a students union, are going out into the real world now, and they're going to be competing for jobs, and they're going to be looking for ways to stand out. And so I was watching an interview that she did with Fanshawe College, which Erica graduated from, and I really liked how she highlighted her experience between Survivor and the real world, working in corporate communications. And so I thought that would be a really good message there for students who are going to focus on how to stand out, like you kind of asked, but also like Survivor was like a really big goal for her. So how did she achieve that goal, and how did she achieve her goals in the workforce as well? And we're going to try and equate all of those things together.
Cool. Dolores says that's true. The fun part of watching the show is the journey that we go on with each player, and it's hard when we don't see the winner and their journey. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes, I mean, if they are opening it up to Canadians, I'm definitely going to put my hat in there, and I'll go in and say that, like, I'm going to convince people to go home to their family because they're sad. Like,
Yeah,
I'd go in playing evil for sure.
that's a smart thing to do. That's a smart way to convince people to get out. It's okay. Your family will be proud of you for making it 2 days. You should go home and give me your bracelet. Thank you.
That's what we plan to do. Hi, Agent Secret. So, hey, y'all. I was rewatching the infamous Watermelon Launch on Amazing Race. Never gets old. Oh, ow. I mean, that must have hurt so much. Hi, Glenda. A little late. Oh, we're kind of just still gossiping about the season on a whole and a little bit about 41. So don't worry, I haven't missed anything yet. It's such a cringe moment. Winning the game doesn't mean that you are a great player. Erica won like Bob in season 17.
Oh, don't even. Let's forget about that season.
I'm definitely not healed from Nina leaving, and I can't wait to see her back on my screen. They better not make it too long. Yes, I agree. I'm sure that she's in talks of doing something again because I think that she was a real big success.
Yep.
I don't know if it'll be Australian Survivor, but I can't imagine somebody is going to pass up the opportunity of having her play again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did everyone hear the production is considering leaving Fiji for 43-44? I would literally cry in joy if that happens.
Wow.
I did not hear that. I think they're still open for submissions. Are you going to apply, Ron?
Oh, you know what? I always think about it, but I feel like I've reached a point in my life where I know I would physically not be able to handle any of the stuff they throw at us. I'm not a physical person. And I just don't know if I'm willing to make my family embarrassed by that on national television.
Oh gosh, okay. I hear you. Hi, DM Rocks. I saw the episode today. It was good. I mean, it's enjoyable, but it's also infuriating. Hi, I'm Jordan. How are you been? We got some Love Island coming up, well, probably in the summer, but we know we got some seasons, at least of the US. So thank you for joining us now, even though I don't think watch Australian Survivor. But thanks for being here. Okay, here's the thing. Survivor ruined the word journey for me. Whenever I think of journeys now, I think Probst is overusing the word dramatically. Yes.
Yes.
The journey.
Everybody's going on their journey. And what's your journey all about? And how is this going to define your journey in life?
And he just gets really like into it, the journey.
That's part of the reason why. The physical part is one thing. I don't know if I could take Jeff seriously. He'd be Ron, what about that challenge today where you fell over and hit your head on a bunch of coconuts and you're still here? How's this defining your journey? I'd be looking at him going, sorry, Jeff, but your Botox is sagging. I don't know how to respond to this question. I'd be so distracted by his over dramatic attitude. I'd want to match it. And I think that's probably what they look for in people. So I'd be like, Jeff, oh man, hitting my head. Oh, it was so tough. But the tribe, they're so great here. Oh, and as a gay kid, you know what really means something to me? Like, I can't do that. That's so tough for me because I'd want to focus on the gameplay and I don't necessarily want to talk too much about like the emotional aspects of it because for me, I'd want to take emotion out of the game at any point whatsoever. One thing I've always said that I would do is if I won like a loved one's visit, is I'd give it up.
Someone else, yeah.
I wouldn't take it. And if it was Phil, he'd understand why, because he knows that if he comes in, it's going to completely make me fall apart. And if I'm doing this, I have to do it with like zero emotion.
Right. Well, then that means I want to see you try, Ron.
We'll see.
To PG and not get to go on the show.
Oh, imagine.
Agent Secret would be so sarcastic and start get tribal towards Jeff. I'd be so done with him asking for my journey. I saw episode 15 today. It was good, and you are going to be happy from this episode. Okay, I don't see episode 15 until Tuesday, so I don't know about that yet. Have you watched it already?
Yes. I did watch episode 15 this morning. Sunday mornings are our Survivor morning, so I did watch it, and we will talk about it next week.
Okay, okie dokie. Well, we were talking about how it was only 26 days in Fiji for Survivor 41, and we're on day 26 here in Australian Survivor, episode 13. So this is literally when someone would be crowned in the
Yep.
US season now. Glenda's asked here, hold on, would I ever apply for these shows? I have applied for these shows. I'm obsessed with them.
I want to see one of your reels. I want to see, does Maureen show up to these?
I was like, who's Marie? No. I've gotten like further along once for Survivor, further along few times for Big Brother. I've never made it to the finals though.
I've only gotten along in the Amazing Race Canada. That's my husband and I applied for that one, and we got along in the process. So, but
Yeah.
I did submit an audition tape when they finally said that you could apply for the Canadian one. I made a video, and I was just like, they're not gonna watch this. Like, this is awful. This is boring. And so I wasn't big enough personality at that time. But now that I know more about like what they might look for, they look for authenticity, but you kind of got to be a little more. Hi, I'm Ron. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be. You got to almost be like Arlie Shaban in Big Brother Canada too. It's like, oh my God, it's me. It's Arlie. I'm here. I'm here to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna put another tape together for Survivor 43, 44. You never know. I would rather do Big Brother, to be honest. I think I'd be better at Big Brother, but I've been a fan, obviously, of Survivor for equally as long. So if I were to get on Survivor, I wouldn't be like, actually, no, I'm not gonna do this.
Maybe I need to finally make my Flint video. That's my audition tape, is me playing with the Flint.
Fun. Okay, so we see Jordy talking about being grateful to be here. And like, how are you feeling about Jordy? Because Jordy and Jesse both drive me mental.
Yes, mental is the right word. I don't feel like they're there to really play the game so much as be on TV. And it's driving me a little nuts because I think they think that they have to do all these crazy things in order to be like likable or something. But I feel like their personalities would just be likable enough. Grating, but likable enough.
Well, the thing with those two is that I feel like their tactics shouldn't work. That's what's bothering me. I'm like, you're actually not playing that good of a game.
Yeah.
But people are really letting you get away with pretty much murder.
Yeah.
But they're giving us all these kind of vignettes about him, and you know how they want to be the winner, and you see the montage of him surfing with his brother and all that stuff. Are they trying to get us to like them? Is it because that they end up winning? I'm just like,
I don't know. They're big players, which is good, but likability, it's tough because I didn't expect, like, especially, I don't know why I didn't expect Jordy to be so boys club. I kind of got the vibe he'd want to be like in with the girls, but knowing which girls are left, none of them are like single, I think. So it doesn't really work for him. Like, I think he needed like a Brianna to spend his time with, and he's not getting that. So it just
boys
sucks
all the
to
way.
kind of see. I hate boys all the way stuff, except in certain scenarios.
Oh, that's private time, I'm assuming. Yes, Glenda, I would love to see myself on one of these shows as well. I'm trying to make it happen for you. I'm hoping that one day they decide to do like all podcasters. Last year they had like somebody circulated different Big Brother podcasters as like a fantasy cast list for Big Brother, and I was on it, and I was like, this would be really fun. I was like, if it was just a bunch of different podcasters that talk about Big Brother on the show, oh my goodness, that'd be amazing.
That would be fun because you can't hide your fandom too. So you can't go in and be like, my name is Chantele and I'm a podcaster for Big Brother, but I'm not going to tell anybody this. I'm just a flight attendant.
Exactly. How'd you know? That's what I'm going to say. Actually, my next audition tape, I'm full on doing hypnotherapist. That's the route I'm going because I haven't been flying for the last couple of years anyways. So going full on hypnotherapist and Pilates teacher.
Sweet.
That's just something different. I've made it far, but not far enough with flight attendant tarot card reader. I thought that was a pretty good hook, but now it's going to be hypnotherapist and Pilates teacher. Still true.
There we go.
So Jonathan says, come on in. And I'll just preface again that he doesn't need to ask the people on the show, in the cast, whether or not the word guys needs to be included or not included. I appreciate that he just made that decision and just said it that way. So Mel speaks is what I wrote here.
I know. Crazy. That's what I had as well. Like Mel talking.
I didn't even put down what she said, but I just put Mel speaks. Hilarious. And we got to drop your buffs. We got to drop your buffs to the purple tribe. So I like the color purple on this purple tribe. Oh, you did too? Okay. I thought you didn't. You're not a fan of purple though, but you like the purple buff.
I'm not a fan of like a pinky purple. This purple is like a more dramatic purple. So it's kind of nice.
Literally like this red blood and this blue water merging together.
Yeah, I like that. But they always usually go for a shade of black. And I just find the black buff, it gets too repetitive. So it's nice to see a new color. So it's fun to see the purple.
And then the next thing I wrote down was Mel has a confessional! Exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yep. Finally. It just took a merge.
It just took a merge. So now there's a 1 in 13 shot of winning this game. Sam is still a little bit irritated by Mark. And little did she know that she'd be even more irritated by Mark in the days to come, because I certainly was irritated by Mark on the days to come.
Yep.
So they're going to be playing for reward, and it's going to be set for life. So it's going to be to win $60,000, which is pretty similar to Canadian currency. So that's a good chunk of change. That's nice.
Yep.
So they had to build a puzzle on a table with a rope. I don't remember how this went.
So it's kind of like when you have to stack the letters to spell like immunity or something.
This and you walk back.
Do triangular ones, and you had to walk back and stack it, but it wasn't like you just had to stack them. It was an actual puzzle.
Love that. That's like, I think it's right up my alley and the type of games that I think I might be decent at, because I'm good at puzzles and I'm patient in like walking back and that kind of stuff. So like I have dance training, so I think I'd be good at that. So I would have loved that one. And Con ends up being the first one to have all the blocks. So Con wins the big dollars, the money.
Would this be a challenge, though, you would want to win?
I'd win it if I could, yeah.
If you could, the $60,000 would
especially if I had an immunity idol.
Yeah. And you would think to play it.
I would probably... Oh my God, don't even get me. Well, we're not there yet. But I would probably use the fact that I won money, being like, no one, let me sit beside you. No one is going to award me the win. like if you sit beside me, you will win next to me. And so I'll try to play that card that nobody would reward me the win and just at least try to get to the end. So I would definitely, if I could win, I'd definitely give it a go. At this point, like, you take all you can get. You're in the jury now. At least you know you're going to be there to the end. You're part of the entire season. I would be taking everything that I could at that point and then using it to my advantage later on. So we have the merge feast, and Khan is saying that he's a comp beast. I'm like, God, I mean, it's great. Like, you are a comp beast, but like, you definitely don't want to be just reminding people of this. You kind of just want to fade away. But no. So this is the merge, right? This is the first time they're all getting together. And I thought it was a big mistake when Mark told Jordy about his idol that he found, right? I thought it was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Jordy sees his brother. The first thing that he says to him, that we see anyways, is that Mark has an idol.
Yeah.
Because they have an unbreakable bond.
That's the first thing that the brothers say to each other, which is, an unbreakable bond, something that you would think that you would do with your pair the moment you got the chance to.
Absolutely. We're getting to where my irritation started in just one little segment. So I thought it was very cool learning a little bit more about the twins. So they are mirror twins. And so everything that they have is kind of the opposite. So one is right-handed, one is left-handed. I guess like if one has a mole somewhere, the other one has a mole on the mirrored side. So I thought that was very cool because since both you and I are really interested in twins, I've never specifically heard of mirror twins. But now it makes sense because they don't look alike at all. But like I could see now that they are just probably the mirror image of each other.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what would have been great is learning this earlier on in the season.
Like episode 1 or 2?
Yeah, like you've got twins, and this is a really fascinating thing about them, and you're telling us on day 26. So thank you.
Yeah, 13 episodes in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So then we go over to the loving couple that met on Survivor, Sam and Mark, and they're married. And I'm just waiting for Mark to be like, oh my God. So, okay, I found an idol. This is what I think we should do with it. Like, I'm waiting for him to want to gossip with Sam about this idol. He says absolutely nothing about it. Nothing.
Yep.
And they were talking a little bit about game. And he said, not a word, not a peep.
Yeah. And he says at some point too, I want to tell her when the time is right. The right time.
That was right time.
You have nobody around you.
You're with your partner. No one's going to suspect it.
Your partner, and no one's. Yeah, you just turn to them, and go. So what's going on with you? Who are you close with? Oh, great! I have an idol. Fantastic. We can celebrate this together. Be the first person to tell them that news.
That's what I would have thought.
Be the first person.
That's what Jordy would have even thought, because Jordy and Sam have a bit of a conversation. This is the first time Sam's officially meeting Jordy, but Sam and Jesse have been really close in running things on the other swap tribe. And Jordy tells Sam, so yeah, we could use his idols. And she's like, whose idol? He's like, Mark's idol. He didn't tell you? And she's like, no, like that's embarrassing. That's
so bad.
Jordy, who she's never met before, knows that he has an idol, and they've had a conversation, and he chose not to share this with her. And like even Jesse knew before she knew. And so that I would have been pissed if I were her. Like,
this is all just evidence of Mark is playing for Mark. Mark is not playing for Mark and Sam. Mark wants the win himself, and I get that. But that's a huge deal to find out information about your loved one from somebody else that you just met.
And if I was Sam, I would definitely feel like take that as a cue to play my own game at this point. I'd have been like, okay, you're going to play your own game. That's fine. That's cool. I thought we were going to try to do this together or like make it easy for both of us. But if that's the case, like I can play my own game because I'm not set up too poorly over here. So So Sam and Mark do have a conversation and she calls him out, which she should. And, he's like, well, are you proud of me? And he like now wants her to give him all the accolades and the praise after the fact that he didn't tell her and he had to find out from someone else. And now he wants him to be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, baby. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you found an idol. It's so good. She's like, well, like, I guess, yeah, I'm happy for you, but I would have been happier for you if you told me before.
Yeah.
You would have gotten the reaction that you wanted. All
Mhm.
I wrote is like, he pissed me off.
Yeah, like you can't do something like that and then go, surprise. It's not like a gift for you all of a sudden. It's not like he's handing it over to her and is like trying to protect her in any way. He's not doing that. He's holding on to it and he's holding on to that information because he wants to control the way the game is going, which
Mhm.
we'll see a lot of what Mark is like when it comes to playing with an alliance and his loved one. Like,
He becomes unlikable, actually,
yeah,
is what happens.
it's machismo. It's so like I don't understand. Like I know he wants to use people as meat shields because he knows he's the biggest guy and a huge threat that's out there, but you came into the game with your partner. You knew that that was going to eventually happen. If your goal was to get to the game and play with your partner, play with them. Don't play them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they had a different agreement going on.
Mhm.
Maybe she said that like I will be there to support your game. You take this win. Maybe that's what they thought was going to happen. Maybe they thought they're going to be playing together this whole time, and that it was
Yeah.
only going to be him that they were going to focus on getting to the end and winning. So maybe they had some sort of agreement that we're not unaware of.
Mm,
But the
yeah.
fact that they were split into two separate tribes, and then at the swap they weren't on the same tribe, and they end up both having to play their own separate game. Maybe he isn't up to date on the fact that she now could want to
Mhm.
play her own game and win as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more information there. So Dolores says, I would definitely try to win that amount of money. Absolutely. Then I had an immunity idol. Yes, exactly. If I had a immunity idol and that was on the line, I'm like, absolutely. I'd
Mhm.
definitely use it because I would assume that someone was coming after me. Well, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So the fact that he said that he was a comp beast tells you that he recognizes, but this is where you see his age come into play because I believe he believed he was not in danger, youth. Well, that's like a really good point. Is that if he's like saying in his confessional, "I'm a comp beast," they should think that he should be like, "Oh, if I know that I'm a comp beast, and other people must be recognizing this, so maybe people are planning your demise."
Yeah. Yeah. But you could be excited as well. I mean,
Not on the merge. Like maybe any other time I could be knowing that I'm considered to be a comp beast, especially now that I just won something super flashy that everybody competed for. It wasn't just like one tribe versus another tribe. Like it was everybody that he won out
mhm.
against. And it's the merge boot. So you don't really know where anybody stands yet because everybody just came together. So I would definitely, if I had an idol and I was in his position at the first vote at the merge, use my idol because that is the time to do it
Yeah. Yeah.
before the
That's
lines are
a,
really drawn in the sand.
for sure. And but they had just gone through a number of tribal councils where he was proving loyalty and he was building that trust and hope. I think maybe there again, there's probably some conversations that were being had where he felt a lot more comfortable than he did. And obviously he does feel more comfortable than he is, but to go on a tangent about being a comp beast, yeah, maybe he's just surprising himself out there because maybe he never thought that he would be physically fit enough to compete against stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So
Be
yeah,
excited, but
yeah,
also be concerned of your threat level in a game of
yeah,
Survivor
yeah,
where
for sure.
people are looking for any reason to get the
Yeah,
vote on somebody else.
you always have to play the game with a certain level of Amanda Kimmel nervousness. Like she always just was like she played almost the perfect way of being comfortable but yet not too comfortable. Like never think that you are in that position that you're controlling everything. So never be comfortable enough to say, okay, I've won 2 comps. One was an immunity, and one was a really big one for a cash reward. Those are great, but don't think that now you're going to just go on this giant streak and win everything, because it never works out that way. You're not Colby Donaldson, so let's calm down.
Dolores, I just looked right now and I have not been able to find it. Like, I just did a loose look. I do not know what his sign is. If somebody does know, though, let me know.
I don't think they're allowed star signs in the military, so I don't think we'll ever find out.
They're allowed to be born and have a birthday, darling, so that doesn't hold any water. I loved Christy's confessional here. She's like, if I'm gonna sit around here having hairy legs, I might as well win. A hair legs and a mustache.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, that's a good point. Like, you made it really. She's like, I heard it's kind of a big deal to make it this far, so if got hairy legs, I might as well win. So yes. That's a good observation, because you could very easily be taken to the end. So you just need to figure out how you could tell a story that you were in control of some of this game, and she could take a win from somebody.
It's very possible. I mean, she's in a really good position where she's not the biggest physical. She's not a big physical threat, but she's also not one of the weakest ones. But the oh, I'm a Cancer. You can't get mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm adorable.
My parents are both Cancers, babe. I could get mad at them.
But she's in a really interesting position, because she's not in the big boys club, but she's also close with a lot of people who are in the big boys club, and she could be physical enough to maybe pull out a win or two at some point. So you just never know.
So speaking of the boys club, so the 5 guys are in the waters. We got Mark, Jesse, Jordy, Jordan, and Josh. And Sam is being included into this alliance. So just automatically pulled in is Sam. So she's the 6th person of this alliance. Obviously, Juicy Dave is on the periphery of that alliance as well. But they don't even mention him in this alliance. Mark, though, thinks that Khan is too much of a threat. And so that's something that he's just kind of putting out there. What do you think of the tribe name that Shay comes up with? Lava.
Well, last year we had fire. This year we have lava. So, I mean, I don't know if the creativity level is necessarily really up there, but I mean, we are doing fire or blood versus water as the tribe names. So I guess lava makes sense, but I like when they come up with like the really cheesy tribal nicknames. Like those are always fun to see, and lava to me just doesn't.
Or when someone makes up something and they make it sound like it's something really meaningful, and it just means absolutely nothing. It's also kind of funny.
I barely passed geology, so I hope nobody gets mad at me for this, but I don't know that there's active volcanoes in Australia. So is there really lava threat in Australia? So
I don't know.
lava isn't really like really big in the country. So, but I guess dirt wouldn't be a good tribe name. So,
well, she does say it looks like blood runs like water. So that's
sure. Congratulations. I mean, there are some out there that I remember, like in Gabon, that the tribe name was No Bag. Like, that's so stupid.
Gabon backwards.
Yep. Whatever.
Great. I mean, that's hilarious to me. Oh, I agree, City. We did lose so many entertaining characters. Queen Sandra, Andy, Brianna, Sophie, Nina, Ben, Amy. Well, Ben, not that big of a fan.
No.
I'm like, Amy, who's Amy? Oh, I don't know how entertaining she was. But Nina, Sophie, Sandra.
Yeah, I would have lost quite a bit of entertaining people, especially because now we're just. And I mean, I shouldn't complain. I'm never opposed to watching a group of guys hang out in water, but I'm not a bros guy. I don't like that sort of mentality. That always drives me insane. So I would have loved to have seen some of this, especially these strong women, make it to the merge, because I don't doubt that, Shea is very strong. KJ is very mentally strong. I believe the twins probably have their strengths. Chrissy is strong in her own way as well. But and Sam is an endurance athlete, so she's strong. But there are so many really strong women. I get why the men were threatened, but it's just gross.
Yeah, it's not fun to watch. It just
No.
seems yeah, there's no opposition. It's just a little bit of too much of a slaughter.
Yeah.
So we're at the immunity challenge. So they had to hold the bar, and it's if the bucket tips, the water will pour on you and you would be out of it. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like I couldn't really understand how the mechanics of it works, but they had to kind of like set it so that it would release the latch, and then basically using your forearms to hold it. So it's either most people are holding it this way, I believe, underhand. Um, Khan is in pain right away. I think I would be in pain pretty quickly here. It's not a type of position that I like. I've done maybe like
No.
100 bicep curls in my lifetime. Not true. Many more than that. But like I don't enjoy push-ups and stuff like that. So
No.
I don't think I would have enjoyed this challenge at
No.
all.
No.
But I think I got the order, but we'll see if I messed up. So Chrissy, Michelle, Jordy, Khan, all out. Mark, Mel, Josh, all out. And I thought that Shay was going to be doing the best. She was pretty stable. And she
Mhm.
looks over to KJ, I believe. And out of nowhere, Shay ends up dropping. Then Sam, then Dave. And now it's between Jesse and KJ, who are
Mhm.
in a showdown for 50 minutes. That's pretty impressive because I don't think I could have hold it for that long. And I wouldn't have
No.
expected KJ to have been able to hold this for that long. So
I wouldn't have expected Jesse to hold it that long either, because both of them look like they have
very
kind of
thin.
very thin arms, but I guess as a triathlete, he has to be a little stronger. I loved seeing KJ up there for that long. That was amazing. And that just shows the sheer will. So maybe Glenda's right. Maybe the physical part doesn't matter. Maybe I should now apply and hold a bar up for 50 minutes and see if I can do that.
I don't think you could. You should
No.
do that for your interview, your video, but like do
Yeah,
the like 40, like the 47th, 48th, and 49th minute is when you do your audition
yeah,
video.
exactly. What? And he doesn't look like he's sweating. What is going on with this strange man? He just seems so. He's the Chris Traeger from Parks and Rec of this. He has a resting heart rate of a hummingbird. What's going on?
I still want you to apply. Actually, you should. I think you should. I think it
All
was.
right.
I think that Jonathan though jinxed Shay a little bit by being like, "You're Shay just picking people off," and she just looks over at KJ and like loses it.
Yeah.
I thought Shay was going to win it for sure.
Yeah, I
For
was
sure.
hopeful. I was hopeful for Shay to win it because she was talked about. There was an exchange between Mark and Jordy after they got knocked out of the vote between Shay and Khan, and because everybody was getting threatened by Shay, and then everybody's threatened by Khan. So those would be the two big ones. I was hopeful for Shay to win it so that she wouldn't be taken out so easily at the march. Again, it's another woman that I'm like, just why aren't we utilizing her? Like,
Mhm.
you just keep looking at her going, oh, she's so strong, she's going to take us all out. It's like you're a fucking brick wall at this point. Like, what is she going to do? She's going to have she's a tiny little chisel against you all. She's not a threat.
But is a threat for Sam winning things. I think is what the problem
I think
is.
she's more of a threat for the women,
Yes.
and especially KJ has said it. Sam says it. Like, the women are threatened by her because they're all looking at each other in terms of the genders, but like you all have equal threat level, but you have this giant group of men who are all towering over you all. That's
Mhm.
the threat, not this one person who could be an asset.
So after the immunity challenge, Mark again wants Khan. And so, but the group right now wants to put votes on Mel. And I'm just like, what is the point of taking out Mel? Like, no point whatsoever. Like, even
No,
from the big group of guys, like, no point whatsoever.
no.
Uh, yeah. I was already irritated by the fact that like, okay, so it's between Khan or Mel. Like that's dumb. obviously Con would be the answer there, but like the fact that they even want Mel as an option was ridiculous.
Mhm.
Sam wants Shay for the reasons that we kind of already stated, for the fact that she will be more likely to win immunities if Shay's not around. So I
Yeah.
understand her wanting Shay, but I definitely did not want to see another woman go out at this point because of the balance of things.
Mhm.
So Con tells KJ that the vote is Shay, and KJ's fine with this because, like Sam, she has a better shot at winning individual immunities if Shay is out of the picture. So then Mark and Sam are arguing about Con versus Sam, Con versus Shay, and I understand what's her name, Sam's point here, but Mark would just not let it go, like not let it go
Yeah.
at all. And I really felt that if my partner wanted something, I thought that, like, I think that he should have maybe bended to Sam right now, knowing that Con wasn't going to be coming for them anytime soon, and it would have built trust with him, trust with other people, and it wouldn't, like, because Con would more likely be playing with the women as opposed to being part of that big boy alliance. So
Mhm.
I get that he's dangerous to the big boy alliance, but they still have the numbers. So I think that they should have let maybe Shay go over Con. What were you thinking about this fight?
Well, I mean, from a draft standpoint, I didn't want either of them to go because they're
Oh,
both
I
part
wanted
of
them
my
both to
team.
go.
But from a strategic standpoint, I agree where Mark should have bent a little bit to Sam's whim. Sam has gone to more tribal councils than Mark has. She's had to survive through a lot of other things. He's kind of been walking through because you see him at the challenges with his one little piece of straw in his teeth and he's just standing there and then he wins the challenge. And you're like, good for you, but I hate you at the same time. I'm sure she probably is feeling a little bit of resentment because he's doing so well and she's not doing as well in terms of the challenge wins, but she's made it this far. So let her have this. Let her take out Shay, who you all were saying just
Last
prior
week.
Shay needs to go. Let that happen. But I think maybe a little part of it too is Mark might be too afraid that he's giving control to Sam and an
Mhm.
alliance that could benefit her and not him.
Yeah,
Because
he
she's
basically
having
doesn't
to now,
respect the game that she's playing and thinks
yeah,
that she should be grateful to be included in his alliance. And so she's going to do what he says, and it's not like a collaborative vote. Yes, Shay the weapon, taking people out one by one. Oh, Shay's gone. Dolores says, Ron, yes, do it. Make it your reel from a rooftop or hanging somewhere. 50 seconds, no time to waste. One winner.
I need to be taking these notes down about what I need to be doing for this application.
I mean, that would be really funny if you're just like hanging upside down.
Oh, yeah. Gravity
Yep.
does not work in my favor. So,
Taking out Mel was a chicken move.
yeah,
Like,
I agree with that
lame.
comment.
Con should want to work with Shay. They are both at the bottom. Yeah, it doesn't seem like people see that though. Like I don't know I haven't figured out why they're playing the game in the way that they are.
My assumption is that if it's not me at the bottom and it's you, then that's fine. But if you hear
That's
your
not a
name and
winning
you hear
game
their name,
unless you're Sandra.
combine the two and make it a movement. Like I think that there's just a lot of social politicking maybe from the other group because you see like how Josh is with certain people and Jordan is with certain people. Like they have their individual relationships that they can turn to. So that's probably how they're being able to manipulate everybody to stay with them.
Well, I have to say, I found it hilarious though when Con walks up to between Mark and Sam fighting over Shay versus Con, and Con's like, "What do you do? Are you having a domestic? Can
Yeah.
I be a mediator?" I was just like, "Oh my god, it's over you,
Not the
Con."
time. Not the time.
It was
Move
funny
on.
though.
Yeah.
It was a perfect timing. Um, so Sam, of course, doesn't like being told what to do by five big guys. It's like,
Yeah.
Sam, yeah, it's right. Like if you start losing your numbers, they're just going to keep on, well, they're going to not even ask you your opinion anymore, because at one point it won't even matter. So you really need to flex your muscles here big time, I thought. So Sam tells Jesse about Con, but she wants to work with Con. Jesse didn't really seem to take sides either way, but Jesse and Jordan have a little bit of a chalk, and Jesse's basically convinced that Con is the person to go as well. So I was annoyed. But I really thought before we got to Tribal that Sam should have voted with her husband, tipped off Con. Con feels unsafe, uses his idol. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, Shay's gone? Oh, oopsies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's how she should have played that. Because I thought it would have been the best for her game, personally. So at Tribal, though, Sam says that she's keeping her loyalty to the people that she talked to. So I was hoping that the people, meaning Con.
Yeah.
Mark says at one point, Sam knows my ideas are the best ones. I was just like, no, you're not it right now.
No guy should ever say that anyways, because your ideas are not good.
Jonathan talks a lot to Con, and I was like, oh my God, they're talking so much to Con. They're not talking to Shay at all. Yeah. This has to mean that Con is going. The fact that they showed so much of his Tribal. And I was watching, and when Sam walked up to the voting booth, I listened, and I heard a
yeah.
That was a K. That was the beginning of a K. It wasn't a
yeah.
So I knew from her that she did not vote for Shay. She voted for Con, and I believe it was 6 votes Con. KJ, I think, got a vote, and I'm not sure how many Shay got. I didn't write them down. I was furious.
Shay got 2, Mel got 4, Con got, wait a second, 6, 5. No, that's not right.
That's
I
the
didn't
next
write
episode,
this.
no?
I didn't write this. Con got 7, and Sam did not vote for Con. Sam voted for Mel.
Oh, okay. Well, I still heard the.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think that I keep looking for that too, but I think they're being very good at misleading us in some ways. But
well, no matter what, it wasn't an S.
It wasn't an S, and it wasn't supportive of her own gameplay. It was falling into the pressures of another person.
Yep, being told what to do by 5 strong guys, one of them being your husband.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been there, but it's not always the happiest endings that you think it's going to be.
So Dolores wants to know if we saw Con's jury video, Ponderosa. It was cute. I did not. I have not been doing my upkeep on that. I keep on forgetting because I haven't been watching it on, like, I've been watching it with Sarah, that I just forget to continue and watch maybe some Ponderosas and stuff like that. So I will remember to do that from now on, though. Especially if there's only 2 episodes now. Even though we're still talking for a long time. Whoops, I'll speed up. Sam's gameplay is the gameplay of a snake. She already portrayed Sophie, Ben, Con, and... I mean, I'm trying to root for Sam. I really am. Yeah. And she's making it very challenging.
I want to root for Sam, but I want to root for Sam to make a decision that's her own.
Yep.
Like, she needs to step it up. And I feel like I know where City is going with this, because I did watch the episode. She's going to, if she gets to the end, she's going to be ripped apart. That's the unfortunate part.
Exactly, because she's been disloyal and only loyal to her husband. Even yeah, it's not good from what I've seen, anyways, and what you guys are kind of alluding to. So after Tribal, next episode, Mark and Sam are talking, and Mark and saying like, "Oh, you're under the spell of Con." It's like, no, I've been working with him for a while. I like him. He trusts me. I think that he would be somebody that I can work with for the next little bit. He has an idol that he may be considered to use with me. I know he has his idol. You wouldn't even tell me about your idol. Like, get out of here, Mark, his spell of Con. I was like, he was just trying to find any reason to get Con out of the game. And it just didn't seem, I just didn't like it. I didn't like his rationale.
No, I didn't either. And I know that prior to the swap, he was really concerned about Khan, and they were thinking about been thinking about getting rid of Khan since the beginning of the game. So I get that the threat level is still there, but I think it more falls down to control. Mark wants to have control over certain people and the
Including
game
Sam.
itself, and Khan, including Sam, and Khan wouldn't give that. So
Yeah, I mean, Dolores, I think that Mark would drop Sam like a hot potato in the game.
for sure. Yeah.
In the game. He does not care about her standing in the game if it's standing in the way of him winning. From what I've seen. So day 28 comes around and like my eye rolls for Mark were out of control this episode. So Mark is gloating about the blind side of Khan and about the strong six and building trust. And so my desire for Jordy to flip on him, I was just like, I didn't care that Mark's on my draft team. I was like, I want Sam to be right so badly that she made the wrong decision and that he was that because Sam says that Mark has been blinded by this bromance. And so I think so too. I'm like, you are not seeing that Jordy is not actually all about you and all about this bro thing. Like he's willing to drop you like a hot potato, Mark. And so I was like, Jordy, I'm not a big fan of you, but I would like you a lot if you decided to stab Mark in the back this episode. I could get behind you. And so I was just like putting that. I was like, oh my God, that'd be so good. Oh my God, that'd be so tasty. I was salivating over the idea of Jordy turning on him. And then we see Jordy and Sam talking, and Shay walks up and wait, what happened there? Wait, so Sam, Dave, Jesse, Dave says Shay. So they're already talking about a new target before. Like, I don't understand why they talk about targets before people win stuff. That's another thing that they do a lot. It's like kill, like maybe have things set in place, but maybe not throw out some names until people have like one immunity or not one immunity.
Yeah, she's going to be on the target list anyway. She's not part of your alliance. Like, just sit in the water and enjoy the day.
Exactly. So Shay knows that she needs to win or she is done. I mean, I think that Shay should be like fighting to gather up like all the people on the periphery and get them not to be like, get Sam to not want to vote you out, get KJ not to want to vote you out, work with you, gather in the twins, gather in, well, Khan's gone, but like just gather in people that maybe feel like they're on the bottom of that boys alliance. And at that point, I still think they had the numbers, right? So they'd had the twins, Mel, Michelle, Shay, Sam, who's wishy-washy though, and KJ. So it would have been tied.
They would have needed Chrissy.
Oh, Chrissy. Chrissy could have been convinced to take out somebody else.
Yeah. Well, it's doable.
Then this
is the time if people would be okay with it. But why are they not is the question. Like, what is being promised and said that it just doesn't seem to ever work? It's something is there. Like there's something else I feel like we're not seeing, except for maybe just the relationships that people have with each other. They just don't want to vote this person out because they care about them. And again, like, I get it, but did you not care about the other people that you've just voted out of the game? Like, why are these people more important than yours? Especially if you're like KJ, where your sister got voted out twice.
Yeah, like,
and like, come on, folks.
Try to make yourself in a better position and not just like, oh, hopefully it's not me this time around. Anybody but me, but like losing all your opportunities to change things in the game, change your position. So Doris says, if it was I seeing how out in the open the boys club is, I would do whatever to rally everyone else. Absolutely. Like they're so obvious to be like I'd be like, Dave, do you really think you're part of that 5?
Yeah.
Like, we need to do something now. We do not have a shot. Who do you want to take out of that group? Because you are 6 to them.
Yeah.
If that.
Maybe something like somebody like Mark has said, I know if Sam gets here, I can't be with Sam for too long. And so maybe Dave feels like he's actually in the 6, but he's not being shown as being in the
No, but he
6.
would be this. Okay, so even if he's the 6th, though, he still would be 6th. That's why
He would
Sam
be
shouldn't be that excited. She's still
yeah.
the 6th,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so Dave is 6th or 7th. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
this kind of scenario, like
Yeah.
that's
It's the
not great.
same. It's always the same. It's like in that in Game Changers when they had that 7 or 9 person alliance or something like that, and they're like, we're a group and we make a decision as a group. We're not. Nobody is at the top of the. It's like, yeah, somebody is, and if you're saying you're not, you're at the bottom
Yep.
because they're
Someone's making
convincing
a
you that
decision.
yeah, somebody is making a decision. So bye bye, Debbie. Like you're going to go.
Yep. So Jordy loves the fact that people are so well, he's sick about the fact that people are so comfortable in this alliance and he wants to strike early. So I was like, oh my God, have the gods answered my prayers here and to really shake up this game in a way that like I would see fit. It would also be a sweet, sweet revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jordan wants Mark. And I was like, yes. And Jordy tells Josh that Mark has an idol that he didn't tell Jordy about. I was like, yes, make him seem like he's keeping things from certain people in the alliance. I love it. And so I was just like, everyone like, ha, 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 ha. I was just like, please, Jordy, like make this happen. I was very, very, very excited. So we get to our immunity challenge. Probably Chrissy said this, but our chef is gone. Which is true. And so this was how did this go? Okay, so they had to run with a bucket that had they had to run up and scoop up a bucket of water and fill another kind of cauldron that had holes in it up with water, enough for it to keep their table that has their puzzle on it stable. We've seen variations of this type of challenge before. I think it's a good one because like you can only work to a certain level, but you have to like gauge your timing that you'll have enough time to run and get enough water to keep it level. So I thought that this was a great challenge. Like I thought it was good. Good one.
I figured it was a good one where if you're smart and you're strategic and you're thinking about how the bucket needs to stay a certain level, it could be for anybody. You didn't need to be a really good puzzle builder. You just needed to be consistent. So you need to have a little more endurance than you had to have necessarily skill. But it was a really fun challenge for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, it was fun to watch. Everybody kind of has the capability of doing well. I felt the men might have had a little bit of an advantage because they can carry more water in the bucket, but I did think it was still pretty open, depending on how strategic, like you said, everybody was. So Shay and Josh are neck and neck for this challenge. Even Mel is in this challenge, which was exciting. And I said, good job, Shay, because Shay ends up taking out the win. So basically what Sam was worried about, that Shay is going to win the next one and that we won't get an opportunity to take her out. So they could have just flipped these votes and done Shay last time and not have any problems with your wife. And then whomever else, it would have been probably Josh, maybe that won this time around. They could still have maybe taken out Con or whatever, but you know, it didn't have, it had to be Mark's way or the highway, it seems. So wait, what did I write here? Sam thinks Josh is the vote. Mark doesn't think it's true. What happened there? I don't remember.
So Sam, who's been thinking like I need to break up this alliance of boys, is thinking that Josh is the one that needs to go because Josh is seen as the figurehead of the committee or the boys club. So she wants to take a shot at Josh, but Mark is not in favor of that.
And I was like, I mean, I don't want Josh to go because he's on my team, but like this, Sam is right. This is the time to strike and do that now when you know one of the boys didn't win, and it's possible to get those numbers to take out one of those strong guys. So I definitely thought that it was a strong move. It was a winning move, and I think that Mark was worried about the blowback he would get and his win, you know, what's the word I want? His win, not percentage, win, anyways, win equity, win his win possibilities going down the train a little bit when making that move and turning on that alliance. So I get why he doesn't necessarily want to do it, but it might be the time, to be fair. And then you'd have like the alliance of all the outliers that would be easy to beat in these challenges. So who cares? That's what I would have done.
He shouldn't care about that. He should be caring about protecting Sam and helping Sam. But he's also focused on the fact that he doesn't want to ruin the relationships that he's built. So it's okay for Sam to be voting out the alliances that she has because he doesn't know them. But it's not okay for him to vote out the alliances that Sam doesn't know or is comfortable with.
So Josh tells Jordan about Mark's idol, but Josh doesn't trust Jordy. So I was like, damn it. Okay, well, at least we know that Josh isn't fully 100% in on Jordy. So I'm happy that the wool hasn't been pulled over Josh's eyes. But Jordy is telling truth here about Mark's idol. So I was like, half a good read. But I really just wanted this blind side of Mark to happen, especially since Shay won. It would have just been too good. I couldn't write it better, and I obviously didn't. So Josh is playing a great game. He has great relationships with Chrissy, Shay, and Dave. Yes, he definitely does. Was Chrissy? Yeah, Chrissy. They were all on the original. Well, not Dave, but the other two were on his original tribe, so that makes sense. Who's leader of the boys' club? Obviously, Mark is not going to want that boys' club broken up yet. Leader of boys' club seems like a bit Josh.
Yeah, seems like it, but it could also be just being said that he is because he's very good at the game.
It's true. Josh, I can get behind him winning. Like I like him a lot better than Mark or Jordy right now out of the boys' club. So Mark is using. You don't? Josh is using Mark. Mark is using Josh as a meat shield. Yeah, but like you kind of have to get rid of that meat shield at one point, I think.
Yeah.
You don't like Josh?
No, I don't. I feel, and we don't know these people as well, so I'm taking it at face value of what we see. But to me, Josh seems like the most arrogant person out there. I thought Jordan was going to be, but Jordan I would like a lot more because he doesn't seem as arrogant. Like in his promos, he was flexing his muscles and he wanted to hook up with girls. Josh is he has a wife, and I know they just had a baby, and so it's great to see these things. But he just has this, to me, an air about him that makes me think like he thinks he's better than everyone else, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. I'm not loving Mark right now because I don't think he's playing that smart.
No, he's playing weird and emotional.
Yeah, it's just
very hetero. Like,
yeah, it's a very like it's
masks.
like military. It is very military, but like the person I know that knows Mark in Australia, she's from the military as well, and they got along just fine. So I know he's not chauvinistic. I don't think any of these people are really, really chauvinistic. They're just coming across so chauvinistic that it just makes it hard to watch. And Josh, to me, is the most chauvinistic. So I don't like that. But if he wins, if he gets to the end and wins, he deserves it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. I'm trying to, like, most of the men so far this season have been acting quite chauvinistic, so I haven't really been grading them. But I can see your point for sure about Josh. So not at final 12. So City, are you saying that you think it's too early for Mark to turn on Josh?
I don't like this. It's never too early. It's never too early to turn on somebody that you don't think is going to be valuable to your game.
Or that you think is going to beat you. It's going to beat you.
Yeah, if you think he's going to do harm to you later in the game, take the cut. Get rid of him, because other people will be thankful and help you out later down the line.
Yes, but I guess what Mark is scared of, since he's looking for these meat shields, is like the outliers to gaining numbers, and then him being the only flashy target to take him out. So
Understandably so, but if your game is well rounded enough, people won't be too worried about that with you. And if you have enough strong alliances that they'll keep you regardless of your threat level,
and you
you
will
should be okay.
likely be able to beat a lot of them as well, more so
Yeah.
than some of these big strong guys.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. I think Final 12 is a good time to take out somebody from the boys alliance. There's 7 of them left, so 6 and 5 is okay. You're still good. And I'm sure the other boys, maybe Jordan might be upset, but the other guys might be like, okay, I'm glad you did that now because we needed to do it eventually. Because like it's better if he maybe takes control and flips on Josh before they all take control and flip on him, which we saw was a conversation that they were considering. So who said I'm in control? Was it Jordy? Probably Jordy or Josh. Either of them.
One of the two. Yeah.
So they're going to be splitting the votes on the twins. Another eye roll here. Like, why? Who cares about the twins? Oh my God, the twins getting back together. Like, they're so dangerous. Like, what? How? How are they so dangerous?
It's that secret twin language they have, obviously.
I'm scared. So scary. Yeah. So the twins are talking to each other. I believe it's Mel that thinks it's between the two of them. And so Josh does tell Michelle that it's going to be split between the two of them. Mel tells Mark that she would love to take out Josh. And I was like, yes, Mel, this is a good idea, but you're too late. You are too late. You can't start playing the game when your game is on the line. You have to have been playing this from the beginning. You had to have been setting yourself up.
And they've been saying that about the two of them is they've been playing the middle for far too long. And that's part of the reason why they were seen as expendable. And now that you are playing the middle and you have to pick a side, you're picking the side that's unfortunately not going to support you because they've also voted Mark against you.
That you,
and you don't
you
tell Mark.
Yeah.
You don't tell Mark. You talk to Michelle and you talk to KJ, you talk to Chrissy. And then you talk to them
if
and
they can start talking to Mark, not you.
Yeah. Like who you can't.
Sam.
Yeah. Get somebody else to do that. Or see if Sam will talk to Jesse, who she's been close with. Don't bring Mark into this. Mark should not be a part. He seems to be part of everyone's plans when he should be part of nobody's plans.
He should not know what's going on.
No.
So Dolores agrees with us. I don't think it's too early. I think that if you find an opportunity to take a shot, you need to do it. You owe it to yourself to outwit and do it. It's true. Maybe it's the coming of the Wonder Twins. No, it's not. The Wonder Twins. Isn't that people have been calling Todrick and Misha Tate the Wonder Twins. But if Josh is gone, Mark is the biggest threat in the game. He won't last. I think that if Mark's game was a little bit better, that he should still be able to last, even if he took out Josh.
He should just let Sam do the calling of the shots at this point and just kind of sit with her for a little bit and not try to be so in control. And then maybe he'll be okay. Because he's not performing amazing in any of these challenges. So he's a threat in terms of the scene as the leader, and I understand where City is going with this, but there's so many other big threats like the brothers. Like they're a huge threat.
Don't necessarily go for Josh then, but weaken that group. But anyways, I really don't think that this meat shield thing is necessarily going to take you all the way to the end, because I do think that the strong guys will turn on each other. And the first person that I would pick if I was part of that group would be Mark to go out, because Mark has his wife who is also connected to a bunch of other numbers. So yes, there's a lot of duos in that group of 3 duos, but I think that Mark's duo has the most options. And so I would be taking out Mark 100%. So whatever, like City, if you think that Mark has time left in the game, like cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if they took out Mark before Mark took out them. So Mel does tell Chrissy about needing to break up the boys. Chrissy agrees. It's like, yeah, like you shouldn't be doing this 5 minutes before you're going to tribal council. Like people should have been on this. Like we need to find a way to take up these guys from before you merged. Like it should have been on your brain, but they did not. It was just a little bit too late. We also see Michelle talking to Jordan, but it's too late. It's all too late. So at tribal, yes, Khan looking so fly, coming in as the first member of the jury.
I said that if I was the mayor of the jury, I'd walk in kind of looking like Mr. Monopoly with a top hat and a sash and like maybe a fake cigar saying I'm the mayor. Like somebody needs to do this. But Khan was the closest person to it, looking like he was the mayor of Jury Villa.
I loved it. I loved it. So City says Mark is a return player with an idol. So that's more reason for you to take a chance right now, because like they definitely are going to want to take you out. They're not going to let you sit at the end, and they know that he has an idol. So I would be thinking about ways to blindside Mark. So take out those options. I think that he's just wasting time. I think that he's playing it too scared, and I don't think he's playing a winning game at this point, because if he thinks that taking out a twin is better for his game than taking out Mark or Josh, like I think that he might be setting himself up to lose.
Yep.
So Josh says we all know where we sit. Why did I write that down? Was I annoyed by it?
Probably. You're sitting on a log at tribal council. Congratulations. You know where you're sitting.
Dave says it's a decision by committee. No one is the boss. And I'm just like, says people that are not in control.
That's somebody who definitely is not in control. You can't be on a committee of a game where one person wins. So
no buena. So Mel, you could tell Mel is the fan out of the two of them. She throws out a Hail Mary and says, Josh is a serious threat, guys. And I appreciate her gusto here. Yeah. But like I've been saying, it is too late, Melissa. Unfortunately, she's trying to scramble at the last moment. And I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Mel, for at least throwing it out there, pointing it out. But it was definitely too late. So who was I talking about here? He knows the game. Oh, she says about Josh, he knows the game, he is strategic, and he's social, which is very true. She's pointing out some really great things, but she needed to have used that to gain people on her side before tribal council. Nobody really changes their mind at tribal.
Yeah, it's she doesn't have the influence at this point. Like she hasn't done anything. She hasn't been a part of the vote. She was voted out. Like she's been a target to leave the game because she's expendable. She's not a part of it. She doesn't have influence, and it sucks to see, because I feel like had they started making these like little whispers, or like, okay, this is how the tribe is shaped up now, and I'm on a tribe with all these guys, these girls, like we need to get these whispers in about it. Stop targeting the girls. Like when that vote came down between KJ and Mel for the fire making challenge, it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been Mel and one of the guys. Mm-hmm. But the women just aren't getting together, and it sucks to see. But I think it's because they haven't felt like they needed to, because probably the guys have gotten into their ears very early.
Well, I guess then they deserve to win, and all the women in this season deserve to lose at this point. I guess it's also frustrating just seeing how strong Haley played last season. She never went out without a fight. Like she was always trying to do something to better her position, making deals, like figuring a way to get in between certain people, to get people to vote her way. Like she really didn't allow her fate to be really taken by a group of guys. Like there's no way she was going to let that happen. So I guess I'm missing somebody being an author of their own fate and taking the game into their hands earlier.
We haven't seen this in Australian Survivor yet. We saw, I would say the closest thing probably to it was in season, like the champion, both champion. No, actually, I would just say the first champions versus contender season, where we had like Matt Rogers and Robbie, Benji. It's just a few people, and the guys all seemed to be on their tribes together, and they were looking out for each other to a point. But they never, like, it was always like a woman or somebody who could get in there and really change the game up on them, or one of the guys would flip because they didn't want them to, like Brian or Grubby, as they called him, he flipped on all the guys because he didn't want to be a part of the guys group. So we haven't seen this yet, and it's hard to watch.
So City's reminding us that Haley went to Redemption Rock. Yeah, but it was a mechanic of the game. So, like, obviously we wouldn't be talking about Haley if that Redemption Rock didn't exist. You know, she would have been out of the game for good. But she came back into the game, and she was able to really make use of her time within the game, being able to reposition herself. She was on the chopping block many times. And so, I mean, I can't really take into consideration the mechanics of the game, because then you'd be like, well, Sophie can't win the game now because, like, she was voted out and she went to the other tribe. And you can be like, Ben could never win the game because Ben was voted out, but then, you know what I mean? So go ahead.
Chris Underwood should not have won Edge of Extinction.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's a mechanic of the game that I have to just be part of it. I agree, though, that I was stronger for George for that situation, but Haley did a way better job at Tribal Council, and she showed her game a lot better than George did. And I think that George could have been able to win against Haley, but he didn't have the Tribal, like, he didn't speak well at Tribal for that. But Haley played fierce, like, she played hard, and that is what got her taken out the first time. But I think that she had a few times where she could have been taken out, that she decided to take the game into her own hands. And Mark might not have the luxury of having an opportunity like Redemption Rock to come back. I don't think he's going to win the game, and when he's gone, he's going to be gone for good. So
yeah, agreed.
Unless if Mark wins, then I'll eat my words. And City, you could say that you were right. He did the exact right thing. But I just don't see a world where he wins this game.
Yeah.
Dolores says perhaps Mark is remembering what Sandra told him, how they need to sit together because eventually after merge they are going to start picking them off one by one. Oh, that's true. But not if you decide to bring them together. Like I don't think so. Like, I just think that he would have a better chance of working with the people that are on the outside than, like, sticking with the bros that are going to turn on him for sure, and then having it be a bro ending. I think he has a better shot with him and Sam sitting in the final two if he ditches the bros. But I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows? So the vote comes down, and we knew that Michelle was going to be the one that was going to be going out here. She's been receiving the most votes at different tribals. Michelle doesn't know the game as well as Mel does. And so, yes, Mel is voted out of the game. It seems like Josh got a vote and Jordy got a vote. That's all I wrote down. I'm not sure if there's other people that got votes. Michelle got 4 votes. Mel got 6 votes.
Yep.
And we've broken up the scary twin. So scary. Scary. I did love seeing in Mel's confessional her being the super fan that she hates that her sister beat her. But fair game.
That was fun. Oh, well, c'est la vie. We still got one twin.
One twin I don't have much hope for because she's definitely not a fan of the game. I did like seeing her learning from Sandra a little bit, but obviously that's gone out the window. I'm not excited with how Sam's playing the game, so I don't see Sam bringing in the twins and trying to bring in Michelle and trying to make something happen. So right now, unless the boys decide to turn on each other, which it seems like they might be doing in the next episode, but that also could be a red herring. So right now, I just see that the next out is probably going to be Shay, then it's going to be KJ, then it's going to be Michelle, then it's probably going to be Sam or Dave, one of the two, and then the boys. Like, that's just kind of what it feels like is happening, unless the boys decide to do something about it.
Well, we will see next week.
We will see next week. And if you guys want to join me and Sarah from Nerdtainment on Tuesday, I believe we're going to be doing this at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing a watch party on Sarah's Twitch. So twitch.tv/the Sarah Atwood. We'll be watching the next 2 episodes. And then for me, I will be going live with Sarah again tomorrow after Big Brother Canada season 10. We'll be going live after the episode 9:50 or 8:15 Eastern, I think. I think it starts at 7. No, or 8. Anyways, an hour or right after the episode, 50 plus 15 minutes. And then on Tuesday, you'll find me on Robin's Podcast talking to Taryn and Michelle doing the first roundtable for the Big Brother Canada season. And then I'm still haven't convinced your partner yet, but hopefully he will be interested in doing Survivor with me starting next Thursday. So we'll see. Or this Thursday. We will see. What do you have going on, Ron? Anything?
Well, no, not on my end. You know me. I just watch TV and then I come on here and I talk about it. So, but you should all be supporting Reality Realness with 3 S's. And, even though we're able to go back in person and do some fun stuff, you still have friends who are living a little bit further away from everybody and you want to have a fun games night, you should consider Good Time Games with Adam and Phil. Check them out on Facebook.
Yes, please. And so that information, if it's not already, it should be in the description box, but if I will go check and make sure that that is there so that you could definitely follow them and host your own game night. So please subscribe to Reality Realness, as Ron has mentioned, and leave a comment. I want to know if you think that it was too late for Mark to make a move, or do you agree that he is playing it perfectly because he's such a big threat and he needs to have these meat shields in the game? So leave a comment as to how you feel Mark is playing this game. Ooh, and before we go, okay, City doesn't think that Mark is winning this season. I hope not. Okay, I agree. I really hope Shay is the winner. I don't see that happening. It's a very tough road for her, I would say. I think Sam has a better shot of winning.
For Chrissy.
I forgot about her. I don't think she could win, but I could see her getting to the end. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.